Hello and a happy new year to you. In my last video, I spoke about how I was planning out my creative goals and projects and basically how I would like to work during 2022 by using my writing journals and flipping through them, seeing what I'd written, reminding myself on what was important to me at the time, and then making notes of the key issues, the key ideas, the key ways I wanted to work, and making a list of these particular items. Now, what I've done from that, I did a brainstorm using two pieces of A3 paper, which are here. So these two pieces of A3 were up on my office wall, and even though I didn't come into the office much over the Christmas time, they were there, and I was thinking about it subconsciously or unconsciously at the back of my mind. And then after Christmas, in that kind of quiet week between Christmas, Boxing Day, and the New Year, I found myself being pulled towards my journal again, and I started writing down or developing some of the ideas that I had brainstormed prior to Christmas. And what I found myself doing was writing down ideas for YouTube. I was writing down ideas for the club, the Confident Creative Club. I was writing ideas down in terms of what I wanted to achieve with my writing, and it was all starting to snowball. Some of the things that I wrote down in my journal before I broke up for Christmas were things like next year I want to scale it up more. I wanted to grow my audience. Even though I didn't say this, I felt I needed to be more proactive and to put myself out there that little bit more, be a little bit more visible, not be shy about saying I have made something and it's for sale. So I started to make another list within my journal, and I'll share that on the screen with you now. I started to write down 3 particular areas that I was interested in developing. So these are my 3 goals, if you like. The first one is a writing goal. Writing has to be my priority. That's really important. My second goal is the club, the Confident Creating Club, and specifically, I want to grow my membership within there. And then my final goal is to grow my audience, and that's both with YouTube and with my newsletter. I do enjoy the creative side of YouTube, so I'd like to get back to that. And I would also like to do more with my newsletter list, my email subscribers, and to really cultivate and nurture them and make them feel special for being on my list. The next thing I need to do is take all this information that I've done over the last few pages and start doing something more visual so I can see exactly what it is I need to do. I can get easily flustered. I can get attracted to the wrong path because I tend to chase the sparkle, and I think, oh, that could be something good for me, and I forget about my purpose, my vision, and what is key and important to me. I know some people don't like to focus on goals during the first month of the year, but for me, I have to do it. I do it twice a year, January and September. I have a look at my business and I have a look at what I would like to achieve and what I've been working on, and whether this is getting me towards my overall goals, ambitions, my creative dreams, all of that. And it gives me a checking point. I've spent so many years not going on the right creative path for me. I've allowed myself to be influenced by what the internet tells me I should be doing, or what I see other people are doing, and which is not necessarily the right thing for me to be doing. So it's very useful for me to check in with myself a couple of times a year and just to make sure I'm going down in the right direction. And then I like to have that all broken down so it's visual and I can see the progress that I'm making. When I come and sit at my desk in the morning, I know what it is I have to do next, what I need to work on that week, and where the end point is. And by breaking things down into tiny steps, I build confidence, I build momentum, which is really important in order to get to that finish line. But also, I don't get overwhelmed by the big task, the big mountain that is in front of me. I'm just focusing on one foot in front of the other. So that's what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and that is the sort of thing that I will be doing with my members in the Confident Creative Club starting on Monday the 10th. And we're doing a 4-week program where we go through what it is we want to focus on, how we're going to take those tiny steps, what the tiny steps are going to be, building momentum, building confidence, and pushing forward to get to the end of the project. So if you would like to join in with that, I will put the link in the description below. Next, I'm going to show you how I break it down visually. I have been influenced here by Sarah Cannon of Heart Breathings. She does a Kanban board, and even though mine's not a Kanban board, it does look very similar in that I've got my tiny steps or my tasks as post-its. When I've finished one, I will remove the post-it. Whereas Sarah, when she's working on that particular task, she moves it down to the middle row. Then when she's finished with it, she'll move it down to the completed section. Right, I'll show you the next stage now. This brown piece of paper is what I am going to use for my master list. And this was actually the end of a very large piece of wrapping paper for Christmas. And I've just been flattening it out with the books that I have been reading over December. So, I mean, it's not a perfect piece of paper. I mean, you can see it's ripped here. However, it will serve the purpose of creating my master list, and I'm going to divide it into 3 for the 3 projects, no, the 3 goals that I am concentrating on for this quarter. What I am doing is, instead of writing down my steps straight onto the brown paper, I found I was getting a little bit worried about that because it felt like I was committing it to stone, whereas I felt more relaxed about putting it down on post-it notes. And then if I wanted to put something in before a particular task has to be done, I could easily slot another post-it note in here with that task on. And also, if I decided that a particular task was no longer needed, I could just simply take the post-it off. It's a little bit like when you're starting a brand new journal and you don't want to mess it up, you don't want to write something stupid down, and it's all mind games, isn't it? It's tricking yourself just to get started. And I found I was reluctant to start putting my tiny steps down in case I went wrong. I've divided it into 3, so I've got a line here and a line here, and that's because I have 3 goals for the next quarter. One of which is a writing goal, one of which is the Confident Creative Club that I run, and I would like to grow members and increase the quality of what I provide in there. And I would like to grow my audience on YouTube and on my newsletter, on my email subscription list. The blue stickies are for the Confident Creative Club, and I think I have all the ones down there that I need. The writing ones, this is in relation to a non-fiction book proposal that I would like to do. I'm partway through doing it, and I'd like to finish that off and get that sent out. And I've given myself a deadline of the end of January to get the first draft done. I also need to put down, because this is for over a 3-month period, I also want to put in here all the tasks that I want to do to get my book of essays up on Amazon as a self-published book. And then a final column, which I might not get to, but I'm going to put on anyway, because I'd like to do this column in January, the self-published book in February, and then in March, I would like to get back into my fiction. That's the idea. I don't know if that's going to happen. I always try and do too much, but I think this proposal can be done within a couple of weeks. So I just need to get on with it and stop procrastinating. That is my issue. It's not lack of time, it's procrastinating, because these pink stickies are the ones that scare me the most. So the blues are done. Now I also need to write down all the tiny steps that I need to take to grow my audience on YouTube and with my newsletter. So that is going to be the next task that I'm going to do now. And here we have my finished tiny steps for January, February and March. So I've got my writing ones here, my non-fiction proposal, my essay ebook, and getting back to my fiction here. I've got everything for the Confident Creative Club here, and then I have got my goal to grow my audience on YouTube and with my newsletter, and also I added in Instagram as well, although that is not as much of a priority, but I had the idea last night to do more face to camera videos, and I think that might work well on there, so I've incorporated that within my tiny steps. And then finally, at the end, I've just put 3 deadlines that I've got for my first draft of my non-fiction proposal by the end of January. Ideally, I'd like it fully completed, but we're taking it a bit slower than I would like to. My essay book, I'd like to have uploaded by the end of Feb. I'd like to start writing and editing my burnt chocolate novel by mid-March, and that will probably go on for a month or 6 weeks. So that will go into Q2 of the year. That is how I have planned for the first 3 months of 2022 for all my creative projects, what I'm focusing on, what I'm concentrating on, and the tiny steps that I need to take in order to get there.